All right. How you guys doing, everyone? Welcome to Alive and Streaming. Happy Saturday. Before I introduce my next guest, I just want to say hello to everyone. I'm stoked today. First and foremost, our show at the Great American Music Hall is sold out. We want to thank everyone for buying some tickets and helping us sell it out. But don't worry, we get to stream. We are streaming the show in real time. So get your tickets. It's on our website, deathangel.us. And what else? Oh, there's going to be some really good content on the stream. Really, really good content. So whoever's at the show, you should watch the stream afterwards too, because there's going to be some cool stuff that you won't see at the show. So anybody, please check out the stream. Go get your tickets at deathangel.us. I'm stoked today. Check this out. My Cobra Kai sweatshirt. I love this shirt, the sweatshirt. I'm wearing it all the time because one, it was a gift from my niece Michaela for her birthday. And two, I'm a big fan of Cobra Kai. Are you guys a fan of Cobra Kai? I'm all about Team Johnny Lawrence. Anyways, enough of that. My next guest who's coming in right in a little bit is a good friend of mine, Scott Sargeant. Let me see here. Is he here? There he is. Hey. My man, Scott Sargeant.
There he is. Now I can actually see you. See, you're the bigger guy, and I'm the smaller guy now, which is weird because you're almost the same size as you are in real life.
Oh, is that so? Is that so? Look at this guy. Hey, guys, please welcome Scott Sargeant, a real good friend of mine and a dear friend of the band's. And we're here to talk about his new project, Tales of Ethereon. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
And before we get into that, let's get a little bit of Scott's history here. Me and Scott go way back. I think the first time I met Scott was in 1988, I believe. That's a long time ago, dude. Where were you about 40 then?
Oh, that's funny you should say that. I think you were, seriously though, you were like 16 though, right?
Something like that, around that time. Yeah,
16, because I remember you and Will are like before Warfare DC or any of that. And I was in Wrekking Machine and you guys were like fans of the band. So you'd be up in front stage, this kid all just like, yay. And,
exactly.
You know, a fanboy and now look at you. You're Ted Aguilar from Death Angel. Actually, you've been there a long time, but
20 years, dude. 20 years.
20. No, I know. I was just saying that earlier. But yeah, you were just a kid, man, and I actually saw a video not too long ago from Wrekking Machine playing the Chatterbox.
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah, and you're literally like beep and beep, stage diving like it was like seriously, you were like every 20 seconds it seemed like you were on the stage and you were diving off.
Dude, me and Will are fans of Wrekking Machine. You know, we love that demo. You know that. We have history.
Of course. No, you guys were diehard fans and you were almost at every fucking show. And then of course when you guys started, Warfare DC.
Yeah.
Then we actually started playing shows together. And it was always, talking shit about guitars with you before the show, and Will over on Sam's drums playing Sam's Wrongful Snagulation or some shit on the drums, and yeah, like I said, it was a great time back then.
It was a great time. And speaking of that Chatterbox show, you were on stage playing and you saw me stage diving. You were probably there like, who the hell is this little Asian? That's what you were saying, bro. I know you.
Yeah, no, we go back a long time. I mean, so if you're talking about 1987, 1988, shit. I mean, like you said, I was a little younger than 40 at that time.
Yeah.
But not much younger, but still a little bit.
Yeah, just to let everyone know who's watching, you might hear me and Scott busting each other's balls because that's how good of friends we are. So it's gonna be fun. Every time me and Scott get together, we rail on each other. All in good fun, though. All in good fun.
Well, I want to put up. Okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, if we could put up a counter of how many times you call me an asshole or a dick throughout the show, that'd be great.
Oh yeah, dude. I'm gonna try to refrain from that, man. Try. So
Okay, well,
but
I'll try to refrain from talking shit too. So it might be a really short interview.
it would be great. Don't get me wrong. Now, before we get to Tales of Ethereon, you were also in other bands, Laaz Rockit, Skinlab, M.O.D. I mean, could you talk about that, man?
Yeah. Well, Laaz Rockit, you know, when I left Wrecking Machine, you know, I joined Laaz Rockit. I was able to come in at a time where I was able to go down with the ship. So it was really cool. It was like, it's coming to an end, so let's fuck it up, you know. And so no, but I luckily I came in and did a live record for their last studio record, which was called their last studio record was called Nothing Sacred. And then I came in after that had been recorded. Even though they put me on the record, they put my name on the record, I'm not on that record. That was the manager, lovely Jeff Weller. But anyway, so when I joined the band, we went to Europe, toured with Evil Dead for a couple months out there, and then we came back, and then we went to Japan. And when we went to Japan, we did the live record, and that one I am on. That's called Taste of Rebellion, and that was just, you know, you've been to Japan, so
oh yeah,
you know, that's just, that whole trip is a trip. You know, I mean, you're on trains going 220 miles an hour. You're staying at these killer hotels, and you've got all these techs and stagehands, and because we had the huge production going, because we did the live record and a live video, it was just a huge production. And then we were mixing the record there for like 6 days after the shows. So we were just hanging out, partying. And for 6 days, just like partying hard, man. And it was a great time. And those last 6 days were, and I know you stayed there too, at the hotel in Roppongi.
oh yes,
You know, so we all had our own rooms with the headboards, with the, you know, with the stereo TV controls, all it, you know, total rock star shit. And it was awesome, man. I mean, and believe me, I've got stories that are amazing.
Well, you know, those stories could be talked about behind closed doors. How about that?
No, I'm not going to bring those. I'm not going to talk about this, you know, the sexual escapades of Scott Sargeant. That's not what the show's about.
Yeah, it is not what the show's about. And once you talk about it, it's hard to unhear it.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Well, see, too, is that you have a visual. So, and the visual now isn't as good as it was back then. Not to say that it was that great back then either, but at least I didn't look like Santa Claus back then. So
yeah, you don't look disgruntled.
What? Oh, I was happy back then. What are you talking about?
Come on, dude. Let's
I wasn't happy. I wasn't jovial. You know, I was a happy, jovial, drunk guy.
I guess, you know, if that's what makes you sleep better at night, Scott, let's just go with that. And I want to bring it back when you said, you know, that joke thing where you said you joined Laaz Rockit as the ship was going down. So basically they were smooth sailing like the Titanic and you were the iceberg.
So well, yeah, if you call it a timing though, you know at that time it was, well, I joined them in what, 91?
Yeah.
You know, so it was, you know, they weren't doing as well as they had done on Annihilation Principle and Know Your Enemy. They weren't at that height, but still, you know, able to, you know, go on those tours and play in front of, you know, sold out shows in some clubs and some theaters and stuff like that. And you know, but you know, it just, those guys were so fun, you know, and you know, that was at a time where you had your guitar techs and you were in buses and you had all these people. All you really had to do is just play that hour and a half or 2 hour set a night, you know, and you know, so for the other, you know, 20 hours that you were awake, you know, you were having a good time. And I love all those guys, you know. At the time, Dave Shivari was in the band playing drums, who Dave, you know, he's in Il Nino now. He's been in Il Nino for forever, but he's the Gothic Slam guy, M.O.D. guy at one point, Propane, I think he played in it at a certain point. So you had him, and then you had Coons and Jellum, and Scott Dominguez was playing bass at the time. And they were just all great. And like I said, we all got along really well and had a really good time.
Yeah, I bet, man.
I was really bummed when it took its final dive, but then again, things have to happen for other things to happen.
Exactly. I mean, at least you got to experience that. Japan and Europe at that moment of time. Before everything kind of went.
Yeah, well, this was at a time when you could get on a plane and all the alcohol was free and you could smoke, and we would literally take over. I don't know. So on the planes, those very back bathrooms, there's a magazine bar right at the back of the plane, and we would literally turn that into our bar, and we'd be standing there for hours drinking and laughing and having a great time. I mean, and I wouldn't be wearing shoes, so my socks would be soaked with spilt beer and vodka, and it was a lot of fun at that time because it wasn't so strict, with everything that happened, post 9/11.
Yeah. I mean, it sucks. Things change, evolvement, it can be changed for the worse or changed for the better. We don't know.
Exactly.
But now, after Laaz Rockit, you joined Skinlab.
Actually, there was a couple little things in there. Laaz Rockit, I did a record. I did the GAC record. I don't know if you remember that. The GAC record was basically me and Coons and Jellum, and Scott Dominguez. But Dave Shivari had taken off, and we got Matt Vanderen, who was the drummer in Defiance. And we did this thing called the GAC record, which basically I ended up writing pretty much most of that record. And my writing style at that time was a little different than Laaz Rockit. And so we got into this thing where we were like, some guys were like, we need to change the name. Then you had other guys who were, we can't change the name. And so we got to that point where we ended up changing the name to GAC, and we did that record. And it came out in Japan, and before it went anywhere else, that's when the band broke up. Coons was having some things going on in his life he wanted to address, and so we, that kind of took a dive, and then but what ensued from that was, I had made some really great friends in LA because we went to do the record in LA, and we were there for a couple months doing that record, and so I ended up staying in LA. That's when I went back to the Bay Area, packed up some stuff, but I moved to LA for like 5 years.
You basically sold out.
So I sold out. I never liked LA back in the day when we used to go to the NAMM shows and the Foundations forums and all that stuff. I remember I ended up on the cutting room floor with some Dominic from MTV. Me and him partied a few times, and so he goes, "Hey, I'm going to interview you." During the Foundations forum thing, but it never aired, and because of the amount of shit I talked about LA, smart guy. But anyway, when I moved there, I actually, I really liked it. I liked it, and it was like I was in the middle of the music industry, and so I decided, I'm putting a band together, and it's going to be what I want to do. And I'm going to do everything. I'm going to write everything. I'm going to record everything. I'm going to pay for everything. But everybody just do what I tell you to do, kind of, because I wanted to make sure that it was exactly what I wanted to do. I didn't have anybody telling me otherwise. So if it failed, I knew it would be completely on my shoulders. If it didn't, then I'd be like vindicated that I thought that I was what I thought I was. So I did the Killing Culture record, and I got signed to a record label called Adel America, which was a German label, but they had money, man, and somehow Scott Ian heard it and heard the demos and wanted to produce it. So I talked to him, and boom, 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 signed the record deal, and he co-produced the record with me, and we did it in LA, and then there was the Killing Culture record.
Did you tour on that record?
What's that?
Did you tour for that record?
We only did one tour, and that was in Europe, and it was Germany only, and it was this. It was called the Full of Hate Easter Festival Tour, and it was 3 weeks through all the markets in Germany, and it was Strapping Young Lad, Killing Culture, Crowbar, Samael, Obituary, and Entombed.
That's a lineup.
Dude, I was like on tour with two of my favorite fucking bands, man, Obituary and Entombed. Not to mention that I got to have Strapping Young Lad open for us every night and just absolutely murder us. Those guys were so amazing. And this was like right at that, they were touring for City. And so, Gene Hoglan, Devin Townsend, Jed Simon, oh my God, Byron on bass. I mean, they were just amazing. And Crowbar as well. I mean, we shared a bus with Crowbar on that tour, but that was pretty much it. We came back to the United States, and I had actually talked to Trevor and Chuck Billy about doing a tour with them. They were going to go on some U.S. tour, and I talked to them and figured it all out, and there was a buy on, like whatever. That's kind of like how it was and how it is. And so I called the record company, and we were talking about tours, and I said, hey, I got Chuck and Trevor both saying, hey, they would be down with having Killing Culture open this tour throughout the United States. And here it comes. And the label goes, oh, we want to put you on tour with this other band. We're going to be doing more markets, and there's going to be more dates. And I said, who? And they go, Flotsam and Jetsam. And and at this time, so we're talking 96, okay? And so I'm like, hold on a second. You're not gonna take the tour with Testament and Obituary. That's going to be theater tour, but you're going to put me on with Flotsam and Jetsam, and I'm going to be lucky if I play in front of 75 people a night at that time. And needless to say, that was it for that. I was so pissed off, and I was also having some problems with some of the guys in the band at the time as well. And I was so stressed out because I was co-managing and just I was responsible for everything. Like I told you, I took on that whole thing, and I just got fried, and I was pissed all the time. And big surprise, right? And then so I broke the band up, and that was that. And then I joined Skinlab. And the thing about Skinlab that was cool was that I was just going to be a guitar player. It was like I didn't have to worry about this or that. All I had to do was write music and play guitar and play live and do all that. And so believe me, after everything that with Killing Culture and all the responsibility and all that, I was just like so happy at the beginning of being in Skinlab, because
you were so done, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I was just so overwhelmed. I mean, I had to deal with everything, man. I was writing all the music, writing some of the lyrics, and I'm a horrible lyricist, and then having to come up with the artwork and the layouts and all that. It was just horrible. One of the worst album covers you'll ever see in the history of metal is that Killing Culture record cover. I fucking hate it. It's horrible. But I didn't know. That part I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what I was doing.
It's all a learning process, you have to go through it. Yeah,
but I didn't want to learn that part. That was the thing. I was like, I never thought about that when I said, I'm going to put a band together and I'm going to write everything and I'm going to do all that. I mean, it was, I wasn't thinking about all those things, like having to come up with the merchandise ideas for the tour in Europe and deal with merchandise. Oh my God, it was just a nightmare.
You know what? I'm going to say 4 letters for that one. Lazy.
Oh, fuck yeah. Oh. Yeah, right. Oh, man. Oh, you son of a bitch.
Yeah. All right. Anyways, Killing Culture disbanded, and you were in Skinlab for how many albums? Was it 3, 2 or 3?
Well, I did, when I first joined Skinlab, we did it was an introduction because they had lost 2 of their guitar players, Gary Went and Mike Roberts, had gotten out of there. Of course, at different times, because there were so many different variations. When I played Skinlab, I played with Mike Roberts, I played with Adam Albright. But the first record I did with Skinlab was an introduction to me and Snake, which was the Eyesore EP. After the Eyesore EP, we did the Disembody record, which we toured for 2 years or something like that for that record. And then we wrote Revolting Room. Pretty much we were almost at the end of the writing process for Revolting Room, and that's when I quit. So I only physically recorded 2 records, but I did write more than a few songs for Revolting Room, even though I wasn't on the record.
Well, you had some good times in Skinlab, right?
I did, a lot of fun times, being in the band with Steve and Paul and Mike and Adam and Snake, and there was a guy named Brett Mikowski that was in there for a minute, and there was a lot of fun times, but there was also a really dark time for me, because I was dealing with a lot of personal issues, and which it manifested itself in a lot of drinking, and so with that drinking comes a lot of stupidity, and so it was kind of like one of those bittersweet kind of things, where it was really cool because the band was, there was some, the band would be moving and we'd be getting these tours and doing everything. But then, something would happen where we didn't get Ozfest. It's like, why can't we get Ozfest? What the fuck? So we kept getting knocked down, and but then we keep going, persevering and going. But like I said, then there were I think it was a lot of things in my personal life. The failure of Killing Culture was a big thing. As much as I was relieved, as I said earlier, about joining Skinlab and not having all the responsibilities, I worked really fucking hard on the Killing Culture stuff and that album, and I had a great deal structure set up with the record company, and so that failure, even though, like I said, it was a relief at first, I think a lot of that failure had something to do with the dark times that I had in Skinlab with the drinking and everything.
Man, sorry to hear that, man. It's unfortunate, but you know what? You've gone through some stuff, and here you are today. You survived it.
Surprisingly enough, I did survive. And I don't want to bring this interview down by talking about that kind of shit, but I also, keeping it real, brother.
Dude, I totally hear what you're saying, man. You got to keep it real sometimes.
Well, when you're on the road, I mean, there's so much leisure time, and you're either going to deal with that leisure time in right ways or wrong ways. And the bulk of us musicians, we take that leisure time and do a lot of wrong with it. And it's really easy to find yourself with addictions. You don't even realize how fast they happen. You don't see it, until it's like that day you're waking up and you're shaking and you feel sick, and then you take a drink and all of a sudden you feel fucking fine. That's like, oh fuck, what's going on here? And then trying to, pull yourself out of that when you're still in it, when you're on the road, you got this tour and you got this one coming up after, and you're just like, oh my God, how am I going to find the time to even try to address these issues, or let alone walk away from these issues when they're shoved in your face every night, so.
I totally hear what you're saying. I mean, a lot of people have gone through that, and, there's people who came out of it alive, people who came out of it not so well.
Yeah.
But, I've been fortunate not to experience any of that stuff.
You are you are one of the few that I know that did it the right way, and even though there are stories and times where I had so much fun on the party, and then there's also a part of me that goes, man, I wish I would have done it the right way, like yourself, because then that way I probably would have been a lot better off business wise, and and not really been so fucking high all the time that I signed things away that I should have never signed away.
I hear you, man. Because like what you said, sometimes I look and I see everyone having a good time. I go, man, that looks like a good time.
Yeah.
Should I delve in and join the cats? But but my whole deal with the partying and stuff on tour is like I always save it for the last night of the tour. I have a celebratory drink with the whole band and crew on the last night. So I mean, that's the 1% of my partying is right there.
Well, like I said, we've talked about this before, where you guys come out here. I've been in Austin, Texas now for 18 years or whatever. But whenever I see you guys, I always make it a point to come hang out with y'all. And I'll see you for, when I first get there, I'll see you and we'll be like, hey, what's up? We do our, hey, how you been and thing. And then pretty much you're gone after that. And then I end up, finishing the night up with Will and Mark. You and Rob are pretty tame that way, and make sure, and Damien as well, making sure you're all in the right spot and doing the right thing. And I'm not saying Mark and Will are idiots and like me or anything, but they're they party, they like to party, and so we always end up with those guys at the end of the night before bus call.
Totally, man. You guys go to, what's that one place in Austin that you guys always go drink?
One place. Well, the last time I saw you guys, you were playing Come and Get It.
That's right. But then you guys went somewhere drinking and just shooting the shit and having a good time.
I don't even know. I mean, it's like at that point, by the time the show's finished and you guys are done cooling off, and then I come up on the bus and we actually start really drinking and doing that, and then somebody says, hey, let's go to a bar, I mean, then it's like, oh, okay, then you got the guy coming going, hey, bus call, all fucked up, and you're doing all those, okay, we'll see you. And I don't even know what bar we were at, I know that I get stuff to do an Uber or a cab or something like that. Somehow I make it home. I don't even know how, but yeah. Getting back to it, you always kind of poof. I'll get Ted in the sober minutes,
No, you get me when you're sober. As soon as you start drinking, beeline to my bunk.
I know you think I'm such a mean drunk. I don't know where you got that. Where I think you're such a mean drunk. I'm not a mean drunk.
Well, let's get back here. I mean,
okay, yeah.
You said you've been in Austin, what, 18 years?
Yeah, man.
Well, let's keep it that way. Let's just keep it.
Hey, other than visits, I'm not coming back to California. I'll tell you that. I've been out there twice in the last year, and I feel for y'all, man. I feel for y'all. I mean, it's getting so ridiculous out there, financially. But the whole vibe. I mean, dude, I went back to my hometown of Santa Cruz, all right? And I was going down, a friend of mine was driving, I was in the passenger seat, we're driving, and I'm looking around, I'm like, what the fuck? I go, where are we? And he goes, we're on 41st Avenue. I'm like, what? I mean, that was a stomping ground for me growing up, and I didn't recognize any of it. Santa Cruz, like, other than the sand, the water, and the mountains, is totally fucking different.
Well, things change. Sometimes it changed for the better, or sometimes it changed for the worse. Things got to evolve.
No, I get that, but it's still, it's when it evolves to the point where it's unrecognizable, and there's just not the vibe is just not there anymore. Believe me, I know about moving back to a place and being completely disappointed. I did that when I first moved here 18 years ago. I lived here for a year. I hated it. I was like, fuck this place, I'm going back. And I went back to San Francisco, and I lived out in the Sunset. I lived on 46th and something, and right down the street from the beach. I lived there for a year, and then I got to the point where I was like, fuck, fuck this place. And I moved back to Texas. And I've been pretty happy with it ever since.
Texas man. Speaking of Texas man, I want to get right to the chase here, Scott. I want to talk about your new project, Tales of Ethereon. And before we play the video, and before you got some heavy hitters, and I want you to bring that up after we play the video, but I want you to talk about this project first. Okay,
cool. So this actually kind of spawned from all the guys that got together, and all the musicians that got together over COVID, and we're doing all these videos of cover songs, and there were some really good ones, man, a lot of really good ones. And Mark was involved in probably 2 of my favorite collaboration videos I saw during the COVID thing. God, he's such a great talent. But so seeing all that, I thought, wow, this is pretty cool. I want to do something like that. But of course, me and my twisted sense, I wanted to do, other than playing a cover song, I thought, wow, wouldn't it be cool if I wrote a song that was an interpretation of my influence of a band, more than me just saying, hey, I want to write a song, record a cover song. So I want to write a song that is my interpretation of a band that influenced me. And so this song, from Tales of Therion, was my influence from Celtic Frost. And so when I was writing the song, I was literally channeling my inner warrior. I was like writing it as if I was writing a song for Celtic Frost. The riffs aren't going to be anything direct. The song's not going to be anything direct to Celtic Frost, but you're going to hear it. At least I hear it, and the guys that I have involved in the project, and friends of mine who have heard it, can hear it. So that was the whole idea of this. I was like, oh my God, this is, I'm so smart. No, but it was like I said, I was just trying to come up with something different, a different idea to do a collaboration. And so, I thought, oh, okay, well, so I'm going to write this song. And I did. And it came out exactly the way I wanted it. And then after that, it was about tapping friends and fellow Celtic Frostians, to take part.
You sent me the link. I listened to the song. It's fucking amazing. And I totally get where you're coming from. I'm going to play the song live to everyone right now. And I made a mistake. I forgot to send the link to the drummer you had. I mean, he wants to join the Zoom link, the drummer you had on this recording. So I'm going to have my friend Eric Caution send him the link. So we'll play the song, and hopefully the mystery drummer will jump on. I want to apologize to the mystery drummer for not sending a link to him to jump on. My bad. I've been busy.
Yeah, hey,
busy man.
You take on a lot, my little friend.
Thank you.
Let me emphasize little.
All right.
But no, you take on a lot, man. So, and hey, and I want to say too that I appreciate you taking the time to do this with me, because I know I'm not in any kind of light anymore. This will probably be your lowest rated show you've ever had. But I appreciate you taking the time and doing this favor for me.
No problem, man. You know, it doesn't matter about ratings or whatnot. I like to help my friends. So by helping my friends, let's play the song from Scott's project, Tales of Ethereon. What's the song called?
What is it called? Oh, this means you die. This
means you die. Let's check it out, everyone. I'm going to play it right now. Did we just give away who is on this? Yes, I did. Amazing. Scott, now why don't you tell people who the heavy hitters are?
All right. On vocals, you have Jorgen Sandstrom, who is the original vocalist for Grave, and he was the bass player in Entombed. He also has a ton of other projects that he's done. He's won Dome de Gone, which you got to check out. The guy's just amazing. And of course, you have Will Carroll. You know that guy, right?
I think so. I think that's the mysterious. That's the mystery drummer. I forgot to send the link to for him to jump on, man. That's my bad. Sorry, Will, if you're watching, bro. I've been
Well,
busy. I've been,
the mystery
I spaced
drummer,
out.
the
Yeah.
mystery drummer from your own band that you didn't realize.
Mystery drummer for your project,
Oh
motherfucker.
yeah. Well, mystery drummer for my project, but the guy that you forgot, your oldest and best friend. Anyway,
He's at a comic book convention right now.
Yeah.
He was going to check in from that. So.
Oh, okay. And on bass, you have Danny Loker, S.O.D. Nuclear Assault.
Man, dude, you got some good heavy hitters for this project. Hey, look who's coming in. Look, he's supposed to come in.
Is he there? Where is he?
Dude, I heard a beep. He's coming in. The mystery drummer. There he is, dude. You see him?
No.
You'll probably hear him. You know what? Because you're on your iPhone, bro. Hey, Will.
What's up, people?
Hey, I see him now.
Yeah, you see him now, dude. Yeah. Like I said earlier, my bad. I spaced out. Forgot to send
All
you the
good,
link,
man. I just wanted to pop in real quick and say hi, and hope you all enjoyed that tune. I loved playing on it. I think it rips.
Yeah. You know, while you're in here, Will, I remember Scott told me that he had you playing drums. I go, dude, that's right up your alley. It's total Celtic Frost.
Oh yeah. I mean, Scott and I have been talking about jamming or doing something for a while, man, for years.
Yeah, we talked about that actually when you were at the studio and we were recording it, and we were surprised that it took so long to finally do something together. And then I had some words of wisdom that I said, which was, well, hey, what if we would have done something and it did something? The waves through time you may not have ever been in Death Angel.
That's true.
You know how those ripples can happen where, people, I wish I could go back and change this. And you go back and you change something and it fucks everything up, in the future. So, but you know what? Yeah, finally got to do something together. And, as amazing as everybody did doing this song, I was just like, what? And I remember, like, you nailed your shit so fast and so tight. And I remember you because your girlfriend dropped you off and then or your fiance or whatever dropped you off, and then you had called her to say you were done, and she was like, already? I mean, that's like how fast you were. And we did how many different versions? We did like 4 or 5 different versions.
Yeah.
And you just nailed everything. There was and one thing that I was, because Juan Ortiaga, just to let everybody else know that Juan Ortiaga, recorded the drums and mixed and mastered this song. I was like, it was imperative that I told him, I said, look, I don't want to fix anything. I don't want to turn you into a drum machine. I didn't, a lot of producers will go into like moving kick drums and they're fixing all this stuff. And that's fine for whatever, project it may work for, whatever. But for this particular project, I was like, I don't want to do that. I didn't even have to. You were the consummate professional. You went in and you just fucking nailed it. And I was just so blown away and so happy. And I couldn't ask for more. And it was a blessing for me that your guys' tour got canceled, because this wouldn't have happened if your tour didn't get canceled, and I know that. Yeah. So I'm just, it worked out for me and what I wanted to achieve. So, man, once again, my brother, your old school brother, man. And hopefully we're going to be able to do some more stuff in the future as well.
That'd be rad, man. It'd be a shame if this was only one song. I know you told me you just wanted to do this one song in the Celtic Frost style, and you didn't want to write a whole album like that, but it'd be a shame if it was just one song. That's all I'm saying, man.
Speaking of anyone who's watching, you heard the song, put down on the comments what you think of it, and should they write more new songs? Put that down in the comment. And Scott, you mentioned how Will is professional. Yes, he is. Maybe you could learn a thing or two from that guy.
Well, you know what? I hope so. And the but like I said, this, and I keep saying like I said something before, but I actually didn't say this before. That this song, hopefully, is the beginning of something. Now, is there going to be another Tales of Therion song? Is there going to be another tribute to the Frost? You know, my whole idea behind this was to do songs from bands that influenced me, you know, throughout the impressionable years, you know, back before I was 40 in 1988. You know, so, you know, I also wrote another song after this one. I wrote, and I'm not going to get too far into it, but the next one I'm going to do is going to be a tribute to Slayer. And that song is already fucking done. It's written. I just haven't, you know, really figured out who's going to play on it and, you know, where it's going to go. And like I said, I don't really want to, you know, start talking about a new song. This one's just coming out right now. But I just want to be able to keep this idea of being able to put a song out here and there of bands that were a big influence on me and my interpretation of those influences.
I get what you're saying. Totally get what you're saying. Now, Will, let me go back on this one. What did you think when Scott approached you and he sent you the demo of this song?
Well, when he told me about it, I was like, sure. I mean, I've wanted to jam with Scott for forever, but I wasn't quite sure what kind of style he was going to send me, like what kind of song he was going to send me. He said it was going to be Celtic Frost influenced, but I had no idea it was going to sound like that. I was like, whoa, like this is straight up like Hellhammer, first two Celtic Frost albums, like authentic, really authentic. So I was stoked, man. When I heard the demo, I was like, fuck yeah, count me in and I'll have this song down. And I just went to my studio a couple times in San Francisco and spent a few hours jamming on it. And I was like, this is, I mean, not to say it was like a piece of cake, but it was so like down, it was so in my wheelhouse. It was like right down my alley, this type of shit. So I was like, I love this song. I'll have no problem coming up with cool stuff for it. And it was just right up my alley,
Yeah, I remember that you were telling me that when you first played me the demo at rehearsal. You go, dude, you got to hear the song Scott wrote that I'm playing on. I heard it. I go, oh, dude, it's right up your alley. Right up your alley. Total Celtic Frost.
I mean, it's the most authentic tribute to Celtic Frost I've ever heard. I mean, even beyond SOD's Celtic Frosted Flakes, you know, like this is straight up the real deal, and it's not a joke either, you know. So I love it, man. I said, be a shame. I would love to record another song or two in this vein for sure.
Awesome.
Dude, how about this, Scott? Why don't you get, you want Will to play another song? Why don't you get into like, I want to write a song in the vein of Coroner.
In the vein of who?
Coroner.
Oh, fuck. There ain't nothing wrong with Coroner. God damn, man. I mean, I love Coroner, the older stuff. I wouldn't necessarily call them a total direct influence for me, but they definitely were like, God, man, I remember seeing them at the Stone and that much volume and that wall of sound coming from three dudes was like, what? You know, but you know, anything I do, you know, if, like I said, having the guys that did this song with me, having Will, having Jorgen, and having Danny, these are all three friends. These are friends of mine. Will I've known since, like we were talking about earlier about when he was a kid. You guys were kids, man.
The first time I saw you play was Wrecking Machine opening for Mortal Sin at the Stone.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah, I do remember because I was like, where are these guys from? Where's Australia? You know, it's like not even knowing, you know, because I wasn't a big, you know, history guy or not knowing the geographics of where all the bands came from back then. I knew where a lot of good weed strains came from, but I didn't know where bands came from. But yeah, you know, Jorgen I met, you know, the first time I toured with Entombed in '96, and we became friends. You know, like it was just like, you know, when you just have instant rapport. And same with Danny Lilker. You know, me and Danny, you know, I met him on the SOD tour. Skinlab did 2 SOD tours, their comeback tours, or the reunion tours, or whatever you want to call them. And it was also another thing, instant rapport. We just got along great right off the bat. And me and Danny actually wrote 3 songs together back in 2000. We wrote 3 grindcore songs for this project we called Gush. I'm not going to get too far into those details, but we wrote those 3 brutal fucking grindcore songs together that were awesome, that just never saw the light of day. You know, so everybody who's involved, you know, not only the guys in the band, but Juan Urtiaga, everybody who was involved with this song are my fucking brothers. And so that's, you know, doing anything in the future, being able, like I said, to do a song here and there or whatever, you know, are always going to involve friends of mine that I accrued from the early days, all the days of touring or what have you. You know, there will always be notables, you know, on any of the songs that I do. So, I mean, you put this list together, guys, and this, and I'm like the low guy on the totem pole. I'm like I'm the little guy on this, you know, compared to the notoriety that everybody else has. But I mean, like I said, what's great about this song, unlike every other song that I've ever really written or recorded in the albums that I've done, is that because I feel like I wasn't writing like Scott Sargeant, I was writing like that guy in Celtic Frost. I can listen to it, and fucking I love listening to this song. Not because it's almost like an out of body experience for me, because I'm like, wow, this is a fucking killer Celtic Frost song that's not Celtic Frost. You know, and not only that, it's reinforced by the fact that it's recorded with my fucking brothers. And so, I mean, it's this whole fucking thing, the song and doing the creepy visualizer video, you know.
Yeah, that came out great, man. That came out killer.
Yeah, and that was my friend Brian Corral from Sticky Graphics. You know, got together, and I was like, this is what I want to do. The song's fucking bleh, you know, so I want the video to be bleh, you know, and you know, so we just got as much creepy fucking footage as we could and kind of put it together. And you know, and when you're doing these visualizer videos, it's funny because you just think, oh, you know, it's a bunch of shit. You just put it all together and the music plays in the background. There's actually some flow to it. If you watch it, you know, there's things I'm like, okay, we have to have this bubble mouth dude has to be here where the solo is, because it just, the bubbles and the solo go together. You know what I mean? So sure. It's, you know, so there is something to it. It's not just, oh, just play a bunch of shit and put the music on it. It took some work, and I'm a fucking pain in the ass, man. I'm an OCD freak, dude. So with doing the video with Brian and Juan when he mixing the song, I mean, goddamn, dude, that guy must have wanted to fucking murder me at one point, because I was like, I think I redid my guitars like 4 or 5 times, because not because of the performance, but because of the tones. The tones just weren't fucking right. I'm like, man, it doesn't sound right to me. It doesn't sound right. Danny Lilker, I was like, dude, do it again. Do it again. I need more. Jorgen, same thing. Dude, give me a die. Give me a, you know, I mean, it was, you know, all of that. And so it was, you know, there was a lot behind the song, and everybody fucking stepped up to the plate and fucking just murdered it. I love it.
Who wrote the lyrics? Jorgen wrote the lyrics?
Yeah, no, Jorgen was the first guy, you know, when I was like, I wrote the song and I was like, okay, I'm like, this is what I want to do. And me and Jorgen have always kept in touch. And, you know, we talk, you know, we message each other all the time. And I said, hey, you want to fucking do some vocals on this fucking song, man? I know he's a Celtic Frost head, you know, and I sent it to him and he was like, fuck yeah. And he just fucking nailed it. And I was just like, holy shit, you know, like all the patterns were right there, you know, and the lyrics were fucking cool. And I was like, yeah, I'm like, let's throw in some things. So you'll hear him say, you know, mention dethroned, you know, as they think, you know, he does the, you know, I mean, getting all those little things about, you know, the Celtic Frost. Like I said, I didn't want to be cheesy about it, but I definitely wanted to have, you know, drop some things here and there, you know.
Yeah. Have you ever met Tom Warrior?
No, I haven't. I have not.
I met Ted and I both, or the whole band met him at the H.R. Giger Museum in Switzerland, and he's the curator of that museum. So I knew he'd be there from time to time. So we were there, and I was on the very top floor looking at some Aleister Crowley stuff. And Ted came running up the stairs and goes, "Dude, Tom Warrior's downstairs." I was like, "Get the fuck out of here! You're just saying that because I told you he curates the place and he's there sometimes." And he's like, "All right, fine, don't believe me." And so I ran down the stairs, and it was like a narrow spiral staircase. I ran down the stairs, and sure as shit, Tom Warrior was there, and I just fanboyed out on him for like 2 hours straight, and he took it. He was super cool, man. Like he didn't back off for me, or he engaged me in every question I had. He answered, and he was super cool, man. I mean, like he hung out with all of us, with us, and I've kept a long distance friendship with him since then. So I'm really curious what he's going to think about this song. I'm sure he's going to hear it eventually somehow. I mean, I'll send it to him. That's cool. I'll send it to him.
Absolutely, and you know, I mean, it was, you know, I always was hoping at some point, you know, when we do those festivals in Europe and stuff, when I was doing festivals with M.O.D or Skinlab or fucking whoever, you know, I was always thinking, you know, you know, these are all the bands that are playing. I was always going, oh fuck, I hope they, no, fuck, you know, it's like, you know, I never had that opportunity, you know, to actually meet them, and you know, which could have been a good thing, I guess, because if I, you know, who knows, you know, sometimes you meet people, you meet them on the wrong day, and the thing you know, you're fucking throwing out all your records and shit, you know, but you know, but I absolutely, you know, send it to him. You know, I would love to hear if he fucking digs it and understands what I was trying to do. You know, I think that the understanding of, you know, if people, you know, hear it and they don't know the backstory behind it, and they go, oh, that dude's totally ripping off Celtic Frost, you know, you kind of have to know the backstory behind this whole thing, you know, I think to be able to respect it. And, you know, so I hope he knows the backstory. So if you're going to send it to him, throw a little bit of that you know, interpretation of an influence thing onto him more so than pinch.
No, I'm gonna send it to him and say, check out this poser ripoff.
Check out this poser ripoff from our disgruntled friend.
Oh my God.
All right, Scott, I mean, we're coming down to a close, but there's people in the comments in the chat asking, are you going to write more? Is this project going to go out? I mean, what's the plan?
Okay, so right now was, of course, the debut, the visualizer video and the song on your show. This was the first time that anybody outside of a small group of friends that had heard this or saw the video. And on Monday, on the 17th, this Monday, it gets put out on all the streaming platforms. So it will, you know, you will listen Spotify, Pandora, Apple, iTunes, whatever the fuck all those things are. You know, you're going to be able to download it or at least listen to it on all of the streaming platforms this Monday. Now, as far as writing more songs, well, I know that I got one guy, Will, who's totally down. Danny Loker and Jorgen. Hey, if you guys are down too, I mean, hey, let's go down the path, and give some more up. I could, like I said, I can imagine doing something now, doing the cinematic part of fucking Celtic Frost. doing the, the fucking big fucking, yeah, that part of Celtic Frost would be amazing as well. Like I said, I think that the group of guys that were involved in this are it's absolutely perfect group of guys to do this did it. You know what I mean? So, fuck, man. Like I said, I couldn't be happier.
Well, man, it's a great tune. It's a great tune. Everyone killed it on that one. The production's good. The performance is good. I hope you guys write more, and even if it's just to release music out there,
Well, that's all I'm gonna do, because I mean, my touring days are pretty much done, dude. I toured for 25 years. I did my last 8 years of touring with M.O.D. We played Hellfest. We played Hellfest together in 2014. And I played main stage #2. And what was there, 80,000 people or some shit? I'm like, it's like I left on a high note, man. And because of my physical and mental issues, that's probably why I'm not going to be, touring anymore. Absolutely why I'm not down for touring anymore. But the writer in me, I never stop writing music. I write music all the time. I've got things going on now. Like I said, I'm not going to be talking too much about that. We'll talk about that shit at another time. But that's what always turned my screws more than anything was the writing and recording. And so, if I could put out a song every once in a while, or do an EP with a certain group of friends, and put it out, that's great. Maybe, and this much of a maybe of doing a one-off. It would have to be an amazing one-off, though, like some festival, like, hey, can you get all your buddies together and fucking play this fucking festival, then something like that, I'd probably go, oh, fuck, I only got to pick the 25 minutes and it's only one show. Maybe I could do something like that. but any kind of extensive touring or anything like that, that will never fucking happen.
Never say never, Scott.
Well, I mean, look at me, dude. I'm a skinny Santa, bro. And you said I was 40 in 1980. What does that make me now? Oh, fuck.
No, but never say never. I mean, the first thing, I think, if you guys keep releasing music, that's good. But you never know with the demand. You know what I mean? You never know.
Well, that's yet to be determined and yet to be seen. But like I said, if I'm able to do this every once in a while and just go, hey, remember me? Hi, I still have some stuff here. And if I can put it out every once in a while, and people dig it, then that's fucking good enough for me, man.
Are you into it, Will?
Oh, of course, man. I just want to say thanks for including me and thinking of me for this recording, Scott. It was an honor to play with you finally, and it was killer, man.
Dude, the honor was all mine, dude, and I appreciate it, and you know how much I love you, and so yeah, anytime I got something going on, you're gonna be a call.
I thank you, man. Also, I want to give Juan some props. That was my first time recording, or even being at Trident Studios. So my first time working with Juan, and he was an absolute pleasure. He was super easy to work with, and it was a fun experience. And I wouldn't mind recording at Trident again. Hint, hint, Ted. No,
that's not me. You need to talk to. That's
right.
The other guy.
But it was a totally cool experience, and thanks, Scott. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, my brother.
All right, Scott. Now that we're towards the end of the stream, before I let you go, I asked 12 questions to everyone that you got to answer. So I'm going to fire 12 questions away. You ready?
Yes.
All right. Mild or spicy?
Spicy.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
A movie you could watch over and over again?
Alien.
Wow. Your biggest pet
Good
peeve?
choice.
Good choice.
I love the Alien franchise.
Biggest pet peeve?
Inconsistency.
Oh, that's a new one. What time does your alarm clock go off every morning?
Fucking don't have one of those right now.
Internal.
Well, I don't go to sleep till about 3 or 4 in the morning, so I usually get up around 10.
Well, that's good. That's not that bad considering you
Yeah.
sleep that late.
I-
All right.
Well, the older you get, the less you can sleep. So I sleep. If I get 5 hours of broken sleep, I'm doing pretty good.
God damn. A song you love to sing when you're all alone.
Oh God. Anything from Merciful Fate. But I'll sing those fucking things when I'm not alone too. It doesn't matter.
All right. Merciful Fate. Hey, what's your dream vacation?
White sand beaches, crystal clear water, Fiji or something like that.
Fiji, I like. I always wanted to go to Fiji.
Fucking
One thing about you that probably annoys others, and I could mention a shit ton.
You know, I love that. I love that. Okay, so the question is something about me that annoys others.
Yeah, the one thing.
No filter.
Exactly one of them.
I mean, fuck, I don't give a shit, man. You know, I heard a ton of people that say keep it real all the time, but that's the last thing they fucking do. And I am. You want to talk about keeping it real, motherfucker? I'm definitely one of those guys. You either love me or hate me.
And you know, I have to say, but I won't get into it because we're towards the end. There was one incident where Scott really kept it real, and it prevented him from being on a tour.
There was more than one.
Okay.
But I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, and we won't say that because
No, we're not going to talk about that.
You know how clickbaits work nowadays.
Yeah, I know,
Not do
brother.
that. Okay, man. What is your favorite smell?
Barbecue.
Whoa, I like barbecue too. I'm probably gonna do that later. Oh,
Fucking
here's
Texas, bro.
That's right. Hey, an instrument you wish you could play.
I already know how to play piano, but I wish I knew how to play it better.
Sick. That's Piano's a good
I
one.
mean, I think piano is the ultimate songwriting tool, and I'm not necessarily talking about metal.
The whole thing.
Yeah, I mean the whole gamut, because it's just all right there rhythmically. You got all the tones, the key. I mean, just piano I would love to be really good at piano.
Awesome. On a scale of 1 to 5, how good of a dancer are you?
When I'm drunk, I'm a fucking 10. But no, how good of a dancer am I? I'm fucking -2.
Dude, I have a listener on here. She's from Liverpool, Claire Wilson. She teaches Zumba. She'll teach you some cool stuff. So you can get up to a 10 sober.
Oh yeah, dude, that would be badass. We'll put on a little Saturday Night Fever.
Yeah.
Hey man, channel my inner Travolta.
There you go, bro. Hey,
Fucking
and the last question, what did you have for breakfast today, Scott?
I'm looking at them right now too. I'm gonna have another one. An apple turnover and a cup of coffee.
Nice. Everyone, please, thanks for having Scott Sargeant. Check out Tales of Therion featuring Will Carroll on drums, Dan Lilker from Nuclear Assault on bass, Scott Sargeant on guitar, and I forget the singer's name. Scott, say it again.
It's Jorgen Sandstrom. He's Grave, the singer from Grave, and Entombed. One thing I didn't mention, I'm sorry, I'm just going to do it real quick, is that the video is on YouTube. Okay, so I don't know if you have the link, if you want to share the link or whatever. If you don't worry about it. But you just go on there, type in the search "Tales of Ethereon," and the song title, and watch the video, man.
Oh, we already posted it on the comments, so people can check
it out.
It out. Yeah. Thanks, Eric Larson, for helping us out. So there
Thank
you go. Everyone, this has been a great stream. I just want to remind everyone, our show at the Great American Music Hall next week in San Francisco is sold out. And we're live streaming the event, so you can get our tickets. You can get your tickets at our website, deathangel.us. It's going to be a killer stream and a killer show. Dude, we sold out San Francisco, Will.
Fucking awesome.
It's gonna be
Fucking
great,
awesome.
dude. It's going to be with Mordred and Moulton, by the way. It's going to be an awesome show. Live streaming. And please support Tales of Ethereon with Will Carroll and Scott Sargeant and all the other cool cats. And Scott, thanks for jumping in. Will, thanks for jumping in.
You got it.
I appreciate you guys having here.
Thanks
All right,
again.
man.
You know how much I appreciate this, and And also relay it to Rob and Mark that I appreciate you guys putting me on your channel to talk about this.
No problem, dude. No problem. How the hell do I stop my live stream here? I got to figure it out. All right, everyone. Guys, stick around real quick while I stop the stream. I will see you guys next Saturday. I'm going live in the Great American Music Hall at Load-In, and we're going to have some good times. So I'll see you guys later. Hold on a minute. Did I stop the stream?
Hey, Ted, Scott, was
Hold on a
Ted's
minute.
audio kind of weird?
It was weird, dude. I don't know why it's weird.
It sounds like you have a TV on in the background or something.
It's crazy.